Welcome back. This is Friday Fuel, and this is our mini-series, Answer Me This. This week, we're going to dive deeper. We're going to talk about when fatherhood becomes more than a role and it becomes a gift. If you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast. If you like what you're seeing and you want to learn more, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want to become a member of the Modern Fatherhood Club, go to the website, themodernfatherhoodclub.com. You can grab our resources. You can check out the New Dad Recharge. You can check out Fatherhood Unleashed. And if you're a new dad listening to this, then we've got something special for you too. The Ultimate Dad Toolkit is designed to give you everything you need to have the best start in your fatherhood journey. And you can check it out on themodernfatherhoodclub.com. As always, I'm Aidan and I'm the founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club, a community focused on putting dads first and helping us show up when our kids need us most. So without further ado, let's get started. So as I've said, this episode is very much focused on when fatherhood becomes more than a role and it becomes a gift. This one, well, it's designed to cut deep. So let's dive straight in. Of course, we're going to follow the normal structure, but before we do, I want to get you thinking. So answer me this. Do so straight from the heart. Grab a pen and paper, open up voice notes or Word, and just go for it. When you wake up each day, does fatherhood feel like something you have to do or something you get to do? Be honest with yourself. How often do you treat it like a checklist instead of a connection? Look, I'm not here to criticize. We're busy. Sometimes things get in the way. Sometimes we're so tired that we can't throw ourselves into it. But if we're honest with ourselves, something is impacting our ability to meet their needs. Something is stopping you connecting. Something is distracting you. Not always, but there are going to be moments where you zone out. You stop listening, you scroll, almost anything to keep the mind occupied. It's those moments when we lose sight of that little moment to capture something spectacular. I remember in 2020, work became an escape. I'd lost sight of what was important and the pain I carried was much quieter at work. At home, I almost had too much time to think. I was distracted by Henry, his laughter, his cracking personality, the way he played, and that smile that greeted me every evening. But in the silence, once he'd gone to bed, I had nothing to keep me busy. TV? Maybe. Planning for Maxie's arrival, well, that was under control, and I wasn't clear-headed enough to be useful. I wasn't useless, but I know I should have been adding much more value. And that's why this question is so important. So, does fatherhood feel like something you have to do or something you get to do? If you're prepared to, drop a comment, share this video with someone you know is struggling, or drop me a DM and share your answers to these questions. Look, every week we're focusing on helping you reflect on the strengths that you possess, reflect on the impact that you're having on a daily basis, but also help you take stock of the things that perhaps are lurking in the corner, those things that you haven't quite dealt with, and how they could show up in your fatherhood story and show up in those daily interactions that matter so much. So, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let's continue. If someone asked me if fatherhood was a duty or a privilege, I'd have to say both. But here's the truth most of us won't admit. When life gets loud, duty drowns out the privilege. The duty hides the joy, the uniqueness. It's not the kids, it's the mental load we carry and fail to talk about. It's the sheer volume of things we're juggling to keep our families safe, loved and protected. Balance isn't going to save you. Routine will help, but you're looking for deep-rooted connection, warmth and moments that blow you away. I've talked about finding your rhythm, not just as individuals, but as a partnership, because if you don't, then things fly by and your chance to be present, well, it disappears. I love my boys, I love the chaos, I love the adventure, I love the stillness when they're drawing, writing or playing a game. But at times, we're managing them, whether it's our busy schedule or theirs. We're managing a workload that at times can be just pockets of stress and fatigue. And it's in those moments of fatigue when they see the worst in us. They see us lose our patience, they see us lose ourselves in work, and they lose us to the demands of day-to-day life. It is in those moments where duty eclipses our ability to be present. And it's these moments where we lose sight of that privilege. Look, we've just moved house, my wife's career is tough, my job's fine, but it's not where my heart is because I'm building a business in the background. And somewhere in that chaos, we're raising 2 boys. There are days when it's about getting through, not because of them, but because of everything else. The weight of provision, the grind, the distractions. It's the weight of your own expectation that can drive a wedge between you. Ask yourself, when was the last time you looked at them and felt pure privilege? There was no pressure, no task to complete. You were just present. I try to reflect on those moments. I'm grateful for coming through 2020, but I'm more grateful for what they teach me. Those interactions when we laugh together, those cuddles on the sofa, that moment in the day where we're decompressing together. Like I said, it's about finding a rhythm, creating a space for them and for you. Henry, well, he has the cheekiest grin. His eyes widen, his big boy teeth shine through, and he has this wicked sense of humour. It's not always shone through in the last 12 months, but we're seeing it again, and it's perfect. I wouldn't change it. Maxie, he's just warm to his core. He has a love that stretches for miles. He's caring, clever, funny, and charming, but also thick-skulled. A trait I'm sure he shares with Mum and me. Both have that mischievous streak, and both have it within them to drive you absolutely crazy. Even as I prepare this, my eldest is having one of his trickier bedtimes, that fight for control he has which can drain us of our resources. Well, it's in full swing. Think about it. What moments remind you that this role, being their dad, is something sacred? What I love is making time, spending time together, a bike ride, a walk to school, time at the beach, eating ice cream, playing in the garden, cuddles on the sofa. It's always been the simple things. I'm grateful for the opportunity to provide for them so that they can have great experiences. But unwinding in their company, those minutes, they pass us by far too quickly. I love watching the dynamic between them. Henry, as the older boy, is trying to assert his dominance, and he does over most games that they play. That's partly because Max's more laid-back attitude means he's okay with it. Unless he's already been playing, then Max sets the rules. And if you don't play, you're not welcome in the game. I love to just watch. I love to get creative with Henry, and I love to play the games with Max. These times, they're sacred. To be frank, there aren't enough of them. And as modern parents, that rhythm, that's something that we're always chasing. But even on those days when I'm pushed for time, I never forget that fatherhood is a gift. When they laugh, when they're curled up in my arms, when we're play fighting on the floor, and I forget everything else, that's when it hits. They're mine, and I do anything for them. Our objective is simple. Never miss an invitation to enter their world. Those everyday little tasks, those are the moments that fly by quicker than the rest because you're clock watching, ticking the boxes and trying to get some dinner. And if you're not careful, you fall into that trap. You treat the small stuff like chores, things you need to get done so that you can find a moment to breathe. The problem is they feel it, they respond to it, and they act up because of it. Managing your kids, well, it's like managing a team. Each person plays a crucial role in the family's dynamic. Each person needs to feel valued, like they're contributing and that they're heard. Each person needs opportunities for connection and growth. Each person has boundaries. Each person at times is going to need undivided attention to help them feel part of a group. That person in a team needs to feel needed. The way you show up dictates the mood and performance. Everyone needs to feel respected, heard, and identify with a common goal. In the family environment, we all crave attention, the need to feel loved and valued. We each need to understand the part we play. Our kids need to feel warmth, love, and connection. Each person is going to find distraction if they're not feeling part of it. As a parent, a leader, your role is to ensure that every moment to interact is not a time to maintain relationships, it is a time to find connection and build toward a brighter future. Yes, we set the tone, but they feed off it. Your energy, tone, warmth, drive, willingness to listen and connect, well, that forms part of what they feed off. It generates excitement. It helps them to feel loved. They know they're loved through your words and action, but they've got to feel it. So let privilege lead the way. Don't let them feel like part of a checklist. So what would you shift if you treated every interaction not as maintenance, but as a moment to build their future? See, fatherhood is about leadership. I use the team example because a lot of the same characteristics and values show up in our work and our home life. The difference, we're shaping their future, leaning on our strengths to help them navigate a future filled with both opportunities and pitfalls. They see how you behave, what you value, and they see how you respond under pressure. They feel when you're distracted and lost in thought. But most importantly, they respond to your style and the way you conduct yourself. Their easiest blueprint is the one that you set. So if we're leaning more toward duty, then you need to check yourself and ask yourself, what can I do differently right now to change the way I see it and the way they see me? I've realised that the duty is the privilege. I get to lead. I get to provide. I get to love. And if I start treating every part as a sacred responsibility, not just a requirement, I know they're going to feel it. They'll remember how it felt to be held, not just handled. Now, we always lead with good intentions. We set out on a path to show them what love looks like and feels like. But sometimes it's lost in translation. And that's not your fault. At times you're buried under the sheer enormity of it all. But your ability to step back, reflect, and adapt accordingly to what they need is going to have a far greater impact than you can measure today. It's about perspective. Can you lead from the front if you're not clear on your direction of travel and cannot see the road clearly? At times, under pressure, you'll get it done, but at what cost to them and your next interaction? You'll be fatigued, but they'll feel it. So when you let your guard down, let them see the real version of you. And as they get older, they'll learn to appreciate what you did, but they might not always remember the way in which you made them feel, even in those moments when you nailed it. And that's why they need to see the real you. Life has a funny way of showing us a highlight reel when we're feeling the heat. It's happy to replay that mistake, that judgment call that didn't result in what you set out to achieve. Those interactions you're so desperate to make work could lead to a divide between you, one that you'll try to unlock. But unless you're committed to making changes, it's going to pass you by. So what message would you want your boys or girls to hear when they're older? That you showed up out of obligation or out of love? And right now, are you leading from duty or privilege? If it's the former, why? I want my boys to reflect back and know that Dad was there. Dad had their interests at heart, and he made space. He supported their choices, and he made it obvious that he loved them and was proud of their progress, who they became, and the journey that made them who they are. Look, there's going to be stuff that's just run-of-the-mill. You know what I mean. That stuff that just needs to be done. But be clear on what that is. And if there is time to bond and make memories or make it fun, do it. I promise you, you won't regret it. Today, I build structure into our day. I know when I serve best. I know when they get the best of me. And I know what distracts me. Don't get me wrong. Self-awareness is only half the battle. Having the clarity and commitment to make the most of the time you have will help you bond and build a connection that is going to stand the test of time. Today, I'm shutting the laptop before bed. I'm showing up to school runs like they matter because they do. I'm seeing bedtime not as a final task, but as a ritual. I'm making time to watch them interact, laugh, and play. And I'm disconnecting when I need to, so that I'm not distracted or focused on the next thing on my list. These aren't just duties, they're your opportunities. So be done letting the noise take them away. Remember, they'll love you more for the time you spend with them, especially when you're present in the room and ready to be part of their world. If you're in the thick of it right now, here's the truth. You don't need more time, you need more presence. Shift your perspective and shift your entire household. Your kids don't need a perfect dad, they need a present one. Your presence will always set the tone. It will teach them what true leadership is. It will show them what you value and the way that you show up. And the tone you use is going to show them just what they mean to you. And it's that last bit that builds a legacy. Because if they know where they stand, then they'll know their place. Be sure-footed, confident and resilient. Not because they face tough times, but because Dad showed them what real love was. He made sure they knew how he felt, not just through action and words, but through the dark arts, the things they don't see, the things you know you need to move to be more present and focused on them. If this hits you, you're not alone. This series is designed to test you, push you outside your comfort zone and ask you some tough questions, because I believe we need to evolve, adapt to our environment and show up when they need us, not just when they need us most, but all the time. Every opportunity to spend time together is time to invest in your legacy. Every moment lost is one you'll never get back and never be able to repeat. You don't need more time, you need more clarity, more conviction, and a reminder that your presence is the point. What you need more than anything is to choose to set the standard and then raise your game. Not by throwing yourself into work, but by throwing yourself into the life at home, into the moments with your kids and your partner. Your standards are going to set that tone. It will create the vision for their future, one you know you can nurture over time. You see, this isn't about making sweeping changes. This is about taking a step forward today, another tomorrow, and doing it every single day. Because if you start today, where will they be in the future? What path will they follow? And how much will you and they grow? And what will your bond be like? As always, write it down. Dive into the detail. Create something so powerful and unique that you cannot wake up and not move toward it. Your change, any change, has got to be necessary, and it's got to leave a mark. Because they'll follow in your footsteps. They'll learn your behaviours, adopt your values, and treat people the way you do. Remember, our resources are all available at themodernfatherhoodclub.com. And for those of you willing to take a step up and elevate your fatherhood story and become truly present, the New Dad Recharge, well, it's available right now for £49, and we're throwing in Fatherhood Unleashed to keep you honest, accountable, and focused on your impact. There's a whole host of bonuses added too, and of course, you'll get access to all our free resources at themodernfatherhoodclub.com. I'm Aidan, and I'm the founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club. This has been Answer Me This, part of the Fatherhood in Focus podcast and the mini-series Friday Fuel and Answer Me This. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon.